Congratulations for celebrating our independence as Americans and our right to speak up and petition our government to redress our just grievances. I want to say how much I appreciate Americans for Prosperity for organizing this Tea Party today. One of dozens across the great state of Texas and across the nation. This is a day of celebration. Today we celebrate our founders who defied an empire and declared their independence and lit the torch of liberty in the land.
Be quiet!
I realize not everybody wants to listen, but maybe some people do. If you'll let them listen.
Free speech!
What I would like to do is to introduce to
Well,
you.
he's expressing it too.
I would like to introduce to you Staff Sergeant William D. Warren of Copperas Cove, Texas. A few moments ago, I had the great honor to pin a Purple Heart on Staff Sergeant Warren, who earned that Purple Heart as a result of an IED attack in Iraq in 2004. Sergeant, to you and your family, I know everyone here would join me in saying thank you for your service, thank you for your sacrifice. You're not only a hero to your family, including your two sons, you're a hero to all of us. Thank you. God bless you. I think it's appropriate that we honor the service of Sergeant Warren and all the men and women who have worn the uniform of the United States military. Because day in and day out, they put themselves in harm's way to protect our rights and our freedoms, including the right to peaceably assemble, as well as the right to petition our government for redress of our grievances. And I'm proud to stand here today with each of you as we exercise those rights on Independence Day. Yeah. I think the first Tea Parties on April the 15th were a big shock to Washington, D.C. and people all around the country. Because it was on that day that people like you gathered in small towns and big cities alike to protest fiscal recklessness in Washington, D.C. You protested Washington's plans to raise taxes more than $1.4 trillion over the next decade. You protested Washington's plan to spend trillions of dollars in reckless spending. You protested Washington's plan to double the national debt in 5 years and triple it in 10 years. You didn't come here as part of a political campaign. You came here as Americans, as keepers of that tradition that our founders established more than 2 centuries ago. 3 months later, I wish I could say that Washington has listened to your voices. I wish I could tell you that Washington has abandoned their tax and spend mentality. I wish I could tell you that Washington has been humbled, that Washington has repented, and that Washington understands more freedom and not more government will turn around our economy and get people back to work again. Instead, I have to report to you the truth, that Washington is doubling down on a failed strategy. Washington is working in new ways to centralize its power and limit our freedoms. Washington's taken over the banks and the car companies, and if we're not careful, Washington will try to take over our healthcare system. And Washington wants to impose the single largest tax increase in human history. The cap and trade system that will raise your electricity bills and export American jobs overseas. look to our founders for inspiration. We face squarely the challenges that we see today. Our founders resisted high taxes, and we can too. Our founders rejected far-off elites who said that they knew best, and we can too. Most importantly, our founders sought not to destroy, but to build. They wanted to build a nation that expanded liberty and limited government. A nation that governed from the bottom up, not the top down. A nation which in every state and town was its own democratic enterprise, its own incubator of innovation. A nation that respected individual dignity by protecting an individual's God-given rights. These are the truths that our founders declared were self-evident more than 230 years ago, and we renew that declaration today. Fellow Texans, God bless you, God bless America, and may God continue to bless the great state of Texas.
All right. Our next speaker has worked in public policy and grassroots campaigns, in government, the political arena, and the private sector for more than 30 years. She's worked in political issue campaigns.